Hello everyone, I'm Maxi. I'm 29 years old from Germany, Mia's current, only, forever boyfriend. And thanks for having me on the show.
我跟你说，
等一下啦！
哎呦，不行啦，我很急。
你这样我没有办法专心。
哎呦，你就借我一点时间是会怎样？
下班再聊。
Hello， 大家好，欢迎收听今天的 Pep Talk， 下班再聊，我是米娅。今天只有我一个人开场，为什么呢？因为廖啊他前一阵子感冒，然后他的声音到现在都完全还没有回来，所以他就是处于一个失声的状态。但因为事发实在是太突然，所以我就是临时找了一个特别来宾来救火。这个人呢，大家上礼拜有很简短听过他的声音，就是我的男朋友阿德。那我先简单介绍一下好了，他为什么会叫做阿德呢？其实就是因为他是一个德国人，然后因为我觉得每次要在跟我的朋友们讲他的事情的时候，讲他的名字都会很难，就会觉得很复杂，所以我就想说好吧，不然就帮他取个绰号叫做阿德好了。然后我就想说，其实上一集的时候算是用我的视角在讲我们认识还有第一次出去吃饭约会的事情嘛，所以说这一集呢，我就问了他，然后就想说可以用他的视角，就是像从他的视角来看我们的第一次约会到谈恋爱整个过程是他的想法是怎么样，还有对于远距离这件事情的想法是有什么感觉，因为我们两个都是第一次谈恋爱，所以在这部分感觉是稍微我其实也蛮好奇他的想法的，所以我今天呢就请他来跟大家一起分享他在第一次跟我出去约会的时候在想什么。但在节目开始之前，我还是要跟大家说，英文都不是我们两个的母语，所以希望大家不要介意，就是如果我们讲的很破的话，就是不要再留言骂我们。我们已经尽力了，我已经尽力了。那我们就进入正题吧。Today we have a very special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself first, or should I go?
No, sure. Hello everyone, I'm Maxi. I'm 29 years old from Germany, Mia's current, only, forever boyfriend. And thanks for having me on the show.
I mean, when you say current boyfriend, I was like, what?
I mean,
what do you
it's
mean?
Current, right?
Yeah.
Not former, not future, current. That's all I said.
So today I think it would be fun to just invite you to the show and just briefly talk about how we met and like basically just what happened.
Sure.
Are you ready?
Of course.
Okay, so let's just start with we've been dating for 2 months, and yeah, it's 2 months, right?
I mean, 8 weeks and 2 days, but who's counting?
Okay, so my first question for you is, do you think there is anything different with your life? Like life before Mia and life after Mia?
Interesting question. Well, one thing I often ask myself before if I'm on the right path in my life. Like, I never had a real relationship before, but I always knew that I could be a good partner if I ever got into one. But I never met the right person before to actually like get to know each other and be like this serious about something. So, but especially over the last few years, as I got older, I was thinking, will I ever find the right person? Like, is what I'm doing the right thing? Should I change my life completely? Like, what should I do? I had like no guidance. But now, somehow that I met you, turns out it was the right way. And everything I've done led to this moment. So I wouldn't change a thing again. So, but coming back to your actual question, like my life now feels much more secure and more fun than it was before then. And it's very reassuring to know that you're always there for me, or that someone very special to me is always there for me. And I have many, many things I'm looking forward to that are now actually like achievable and doable instead of being just imaginations or dreams before.
Okay, so actually in the last episode, I kind of shared about my point of view on our first date, but I'm more curious about what is yours.
And I could tell you my exact thought process from the time that you asked me out until today, but I think that would be another season by itself.
Okay.
But okay, as you know, you asked me out first, but as you always already said back then, like Germany, the area is my area. And even though I just moved here, I wanted to make sure we had a nice evening together, like didn't want to disappoint you. And we did the organizing and coordinating everything together in a short time, and that went really well, even though we had like multiple obstacles, like the railway strike, and then was the question, how am I going to get there to Bonn from Cologne, where I live, and how are you going to get there, and when, and where. But I already noticed as we were talking about that, how easy it was to like work with you on something, and how it was clear that we both wanted to make this meeting happen. Like, it would have been very easy to just say, yeah, sorry, my train is not going, there's a strike, like, can we do it another day, or just cancel, all right, and then never talk about it again. But we didn't. We wanted to go through with it. Also, I knew you're leaving on Saturday, so it's like very low risk, high reward, or like nothing bad will happen in the worst case. But I still wanted to make sure we're gonna have a good time, because why not? We deserve that and have the good time together, low pressure. So I wasn't really nervous about it, like organizing and coming up with ideas for something, because like I said, if it went badly, we just wouldn't see each other again. So what's the worst that can happen, literally? So, and I wasn't even thinking like, okay, what about Friday or Saturday? Like, what is the future implications of a date like that? I'm just like, you're gonna have a nice evening, and whatever happens, happens.
The funny part is that I think in the last episode, I also shared something like basically the same from your point of view. I think I said something like, yeah, no, the worst scenario is that I just go back to Taiwan and just block you and never talk to you again.
Still a possibility.
Yeah, so I just think it's pretty funny that we have we were on this kind of like on the same page about this date.
And then during the date, when we actually got there, I was surprised by many things, like your attitude, your beauty, your manners, and your trust into me, even though we just met for the first time. Like, maybe you told your listeners about this, but I will. On the way to the restaurant, we had to go through some like dark and like empty streets to get to the restaurant, which was like a 15-minute walk from the main station where we met. And that's like the one thing you shouldn't do on a first date, is leave the girl to some areas that she doesn't know and they're like empty and such. You want to be like in the public, so both of you can feel safe. And I felt like so bad about that. Like, I didn't know the area either. I'd never been there before. It was my first time there too. But I'm like, okay, what must you think about me now? So I tried to explain myself and tell you, hey, this is just a route here. You can look at my phone. I don't know where we're going. I'm just following the Google line. Please believe me. And you're like, yeah, that's cool. Whatever. I'm like, okay. Not sure if she should trust me, but I guess it's a good thing that she does.
I think I said something like, okay, you're not trying to kidnap me, right? And you just show me your phone, be like, yeah, no, this is the right way to go.
I mean, we talked about kidnapping on the train rides we each had to the way there, and we decided we're not going to kidnap each other. So the basis was set that we're not going to do that, but still I wanted to explain myself like, why we're going here. But it worked out, and we found the way to the restaurant without being kidnapped by someone else or by each other. And I don't know about you, but the restaurant was beautiful. It was perfect. It was like movie scene, like you couldn't imagine a better place. But it didn't really start that well, the evening, in my point of view. Earlier, when I picked out the restaurant, I was like, okay, they have a nice bar selection, like a lot of different drinks. And Mia mentioned in our chats before that she likes or has been drinking, let's just say that, a few times in the days we met before then, or we chatted before then. So I'm like, so she must enjoy drinking like a beverage from time to time. So, and this restaurant's supposed to have a good bar, so let's just go there. And then she tells me, yeah, I'm not gonna drink on the first date. I'm like, oh yeah, of course, because you don't know me and you don't want to get drunk around me. Like, that makes so much sense. And I was like, fuck, how stupid can you be? Makes sense, right?
Okay, then my next question is, what we'll say is the decisive moment that made you want to date me, like right after the first date? Because I heard about, I don't think it's a theory, maybe just like stereotypical stuff, that German don't really take initiative when it comes to girls or relationship stuff, and Germans tend to spend pretty long time to decide that if they want to date this person.
Well, I don't have any experience in dating, as you know, and my friend group I had, at least the guy friends I have, since I was a kid, don't really have that either. And then again, every person is like different, and not sure if stereotyping or just typecasting like that is really a good thing to do, because everyone is different, every relationship is different. Like we said, you're gonna leave the country in like 48 hours. So I wanted to make sure, okay, are we just friends who really like each other? Are we more? Like whatever happened in the last 6 hours, I guess we got on the same page eventually and decided just to date and to do that. But to answer the question, like when the decisive moment was when I wanted to do that, it's less like one moment, but more like a feeling that developed over the dinner. And we both, I noticed that we didn't want the night to end. I wanted to see you again, obviously, and I didn't want you to see other people. And when you told me at the end of the dinner, or when we wanted to leave the restaurant, that you're gonna pay for dinner tomorrow, or for the date tomorrow, I was like, okay, she wants to see me again, and takes initiative, and it's not like, yeah, you can take me out again, but like, yeah, I'm gonna do this and that. So, okay, she must enjoy today at least a little bit to see me again. I'm not sure if the situation would be different, like, okay, we're gonna see each other multiple times over the next few months and weeks because you live here, if things would have gone differently or not. But I guess I'm fine with things the way the things are now. So I'm glad it was like that, and I just wanted to have clarity.
Now we've been dating each other for like 2 months, and okay, I would say most of the time you're in Germany and I'm in Taiwan, and we have this 7 hours time difference. So what do you think is the most important things and also the most difficult things about maintaining a long distance relationship?
Well, relationships themselves take a lot of effort and trust, and there are many things. They're scary, they're exciting, they're amazing, they're horrible, and long distance relationships are all that, but even more extreme, like on hard mode.
Yeah.
And many people ask themselves, like, can they work? Can I do that with my partner? And yeah, sure, you can do it, but we both knew it wasn't going to be easy when we started this. And I want to start with I feel like I have 3 important things when it comes to long distance relationships, and I'll go over them like quickly. The least important thing, but still very important, is just be there for each other, spend quality time for each other, and make sure you have time for the other person. And the second most important thing is communication. Just talk to each other a lot, make commitments or just set expectations, make arrangements, boundaries, like set limits, like how often you see each other, how often you're going to talk each other, how often you're going to call each other, just so the other person is not stuck thinking about, oh, he hasn't called the whole day, like what is wrong, when he thinks calling once in the evening is okay. Like be on the same wavelength about everything. And the most important thing is that you have to trust the other person, which is really difficult if you just met each other and are apart again, like immediately afterwards. But you can't see the person every day. You're not seeing their body language or the daily routine. You're not there the whole time. You're mostly just waiting by your phone or laptop for a call or a video call or message to hear from them. So you really have to trust them that everything is okay and they're not doing who knows what, and that they're actually committed to it. And all those 3 things, communication, trust, and be there for each other, like all goes into one massive pot. And if you get the right balance of everything, you can really be there for each other and make long distance relationships work. Because right now we have probably the easiest time where you can do a long distance relationship with like video calls and fast travel and good internet and such. Imagine just 40 years ago, you're writing letters to each other that takes months just to get there, especially over our distance. And we've been in the lucky position that we can just decide, hey, I'm gonna see you in 3 days. Let's just get on this next flight that goes every day, and we could be there together if we really needed or wanted to. And instead of being, okay, the next flight is like in 6 months and you have to wait just to have the option to meet each other. So the most difficult thing is really just how to deal with the time when you are apart, and communication and being there for each other and trusting the other people or the other person helps a lot with that, in my opinion.
Okay, so there is something that I don't think I told my listeners. So I enjoyed asking you questions like just some fake or makeup scenario. So let's say, I'm just gonna give you some questions. Let's say if one day I just call you and be like, Maxi, I don't really want to do calls, like video calls or audio calls today. I just want to have some time for myself. Will you be okay with that?
Sure. I can't force you to do anything. Like, I would ask you, like, what is wrong and what changed. And depending on your answer, we're gonna continue the conversation like that. But if you're just, yeah, I had a shit day, I just want to be by myself, and I'll call you in a few hours, and I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, I can't change it. I have to deal with it. But obviously, I would be concerned about that, depending on what the reason you give me for that decision, let's say.
Okay, now I have another question. Like, if you don't hear from me for, like, let's say for 2 months, will you consider we already break up?
Did you respond to any of my messages in those 2 months?
No.
Then yes.
Okay. How
I think
about
2
1
months
month?
is a long time.
1
Yeah,
month?
I think like 1 month without any reaction is probably my limit.
So what will you say, like, last message to me?
I don't know. Probably some stuff I shouldn't say on recording.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any questions? Like, you can ask me anything if you want.
Well, what's your advice for long-distance relationship from the girl's point of view?
I think it's like what you mentioned, trust, like make the other person feel safe. But I think another most important thing is that you need to have a plan or try to make a plan for both people that you guys can potentially have a future together, like in the same city. You have to make sure that this long distance relationship will not be the permanent.
Yeah. And I think you said it correctly, like how long is long distance gonna last? Like obviously you can't like choose everything or direct everything, but if it were up to you, like how long should this one last? Because you don't want to go into like year 3 of long distance not knowing like, okay, when will it end? Because that won't work on a permanent basis. If you only know long distance and you have no end in sight, that's going to be difficult for one party sooner or later.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your least favorite part about long distance? But there must be some good parts too, right?
Okay, so I'll start with the good part, but I don't know if you'll be happy about that. I would say the good part is that I can still have my personal space. And the things I hate about long distance relationship, I would say, is you don't get physical interaction. Yeah, I would say that's the worst part. Even just holding hands.
Yeah, not anything more than that. Just being in the same space as the other person, just sharing the room and the space. Yeah, you can replicate the voice and the image and stuff on the computer, but not the presence.
Yep.
No, I agree. Honestly, I agree. Like, I enjoy having my own space. Like, I would be perfectly fine sharing it with you the whole time if we were living together. But you still need your alone time from time to time. So it's really difficult, but with the right person, everything is possible.
Any more questions?
We can go back. What were your thoughts on Saturday as you were leaving the hotel, ready to leave, and when you were on the plane, like actually having departed? Like, what were your thoughts about the last 3 days?
I was very confused because it all happened very quickly. I didn't see that coming. Not at all. And I was sick. We had like, how long? Like 4 hours walk, and it was like 3 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So I caught a cold, and I felt very sick on Saturday morning. I didn't get much sleep because I have to pack and I have to go to the train station very early. Okay, I thought about what would happen when I go back to Taiwan and like just like what I said, I thought that okay, so the worst scenario is that I block you or you just block me.
Why would the worst scenario be that you block me? Like you had to do that. But did you tell the story about Saturday? What you really enjoyed?
Yeah, I share about the apple slice. I talk about the apple slice because that was very impressive.
Advice for all the guys and girls, I guess. Like think about stuff like that. Like I knew she didn't sleep at all the whole night. She didn't eat dinner last night when we were out. And she has to leave at like 5 a.m. in the morning to go to the main station. Like obviously, you didn't have time to eat. It's not like she was at home and could just make a sandwich. She was in a hotel room. Like there wasn't any food there. So I just picked everything or anything I could really for breakfast, which was only like a few apple slices and like chocolate bars to get her like something, because you don't know what the store's gonna have when you get to the main station. You can't buy anything there maybe. What if they're all closed or whatever? Like you have to be prepared, and it shows that you care.
Okay, so I think I told you about this. Like the one thing I like the most about you is you care and you pay attention to the detail. Like
I said, I could tell the whole story from Monday until Saturday. Obviously, you have to pay attention. Otherwise, why are you even doing that?
Okay.
Being in a relationship with someone, if you don't care or pay attention, like that's the whole basis for everything.
Do you think it's okay to ask if they dated anybody before?
I wouldn't ask them like directly.
Like on the first date or before the first date?
I wouldn't ask them like this bluntly, like, hey, is this, or how many dates have you had before then? But if you say something like, oh, I'm nervous because this is my first date, and see the reaction, if they're like, yeah, me too, or like, no, you're gonna be fine or whatever. Just be a bit more careful about that. It depends on the person. Like if you established already that you can talk about basically anything already, even though you haven't met, then sure you can ask. But I feel like in most cases it's a bit more nuanced than that. But you can ask like, hey, have you been on other dates recently? Because when you meet, like we did on the dating app, you know, okay, they've been looking for someone. It's not like you met in a park somewhere where you don't know what they did before. Obviously, if they're on the dating app, they're trying to get somewhere with that. So you can ask them like, hey, have you been to a date recently and such? Maybe not like in the first like 2 hours or something, more when the conversation goes there maybe. But yeah, just be a bit more nuanced about that.
I think we did a fist bump or handshake after we found out that neither of us date anybody before.
Did we? I can't remember that.
Yeah, I think we did a fist bump in the restaurant. I think no, it's not a fist bump. It's a handshake. It's a handshake.
Really?
It was a handshake. Yeah.
I was very surprised. I wouldn't have thought that about you.
Really? Why?
You seemed too cool of a person to be like, yeah, I haven't had a date before. I'm like, how has no one picked you up before like that? Like, very surprised but happy about it at the same time.
Well, lucky you.
I guess so. Lucky me indeed.
Okay, let's just wrap it up for today. Okay, because now we are recording like through like video calls. Maybe next time, hopefully, we can do it in person.
Sure. Always here for you if you need anything.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed the ramblings. I hope your Chinese audience understood at least one thing I said.
Okay. You have to say bye.
Oh, bye. I'm not used to those. Okay. Bye. Thank you.
好啦，那以上就是今天的节目啦，希望大家喜欢。如果是想要看中文字幕的人呢，我在这个礼拜五的时候会把有字幕的档案丢到 YouTube 上面，那大家也可以去看。然后 YouTube 的连结呢，就是在我们官方 Instagram 的介绍栏上面的一个短连结，点进去之后就可以看到啦。